Everyone is talking about 4K video, and videographers are eager to find ways to adopt it for their productions. Even if you just downsample 4K to 1080p, you're going to notice cleaner, detail-rich footage. Sony stepped into the spotlight for 4K with their new full-frame mirrorless a7S, which has industry-leading low-light performance and a very wide dynamic range. Hey guys, I'm Mia. The a7S is optimized for the creative videographer looking to push their footage in post and their camera in low light situations. In minimal light, it delivers like no other camera I've worked with. It can practically see in the dark. Things I couldn't see with the naked eye showed up clear as day in my shots. The full-frame sensor is capable of producing images at a maximum expanded ISO of 409,600. Now, you will probably never use an image at that ISO because of the noise, but it's amazing that this camera can take one. Even with the ISO cranked to 80,000, images still had color and looked better than anything else I've shot in this range. What's nice is at ISO 8000 and 12,800, you can capture usable images and video footage that still has shallow depth of field, sharp focus, and good color. So how does the a7S do it? Sony says its extra-large pixels collect more light than traditional cameras. And it's true, this camera is a low-light monster. And for anyone shooting video at night, or if you can't cart around lights, I would venture to say that at this price point, you could do no better than the a7S. Combine the low-light performance with the camera's ability to capture, according to Sony, 15 stops of dynamic range, and you'll get some incredibly flexible footage that shows gorgeous detail and color even through the highlights and shadows. That dynamic range allows you to really push what you can do grading-wise in post-production. However, I am disappointed that this camera can't shoot 4K internally. It will output 422 8-bit 3840 by 2160 footage via the Micro HDMI port, so technically it can output Ultra HD. An external recorder capable of handling that footage is currently in the works from Atomos, but right now you would have to run the signal through a Blackmagic design UltraStudio 4K in-and-out device to a computer with a specific software capable of recording 4K footage. So as of this review, it's a pain. But from what I've seen, the images will blow you away. If the footage shot in low light at 1080 looks good, anything captured in 4K should look awesome. This camera is the first to offer full-frame 4K footage at a relatively affordable price point. To me, that option alone is reason enough to seriously consider it. The other cameras in this line, the A7 and the A7R, are designed around capturing the best still image possible, with 24 and 36 megapixel sensors respectively. The A7S has a full-frame 12 megapixel sensor which can still capture beautiful detailed photos that you can hang on a wall, but the lower megapixel count optimizes the sensor for low-light performance and full pixel-for-pixel video readout. That will squash most noticeable moire or aliasing issues. At 12 megapixels, what you'll probably miss most is the flexibility to crop still images extensively in post. Now with video, the rules are completely swapped. You can crop 4K footage a number of different ways to convert your footage to 1080p. Cropping gives you tremendous creative freedom that you typically don't have because you usually don't have the extra resolution to spare, which makes me wish it was easier to capture 4K with this camera in the first place. When it comes to formats, the a7S offers several at various bit rates, but I stuck to Sony's high-end XAVC-s format at 50 megabits per second. You can capture 1080p video at 24, 30, and 60 frames per second, and there's even an option for 720p at 120 frames per second. Now that's perfect for capturing video that you want to add a slow motion effect to in post. Just know that if you're working in this format, you'll need to shoot on a Class 10 SDXC card. The a7S records internally at 420 8-bit color, but it can output 422 8-bit color to an external recorder. There is a variety of picture profiles to choose from, including a few with cine gamma curves, but the one that's catching the eye of pro videographers is Sony's S-Log 2. This is the gamma profile that's capable of capturing all of the glorious 15 stops of dynamic range that the a7S has to offer. It's borrowed from the cameras in Sony's Pro video line. The biggest problem I had with the video captured with this camera is the rolling shutter. It's noticeable in a big way when you're panning at any speed other than super slow. So documentary work or trying to capture any type of a scene that's unpredictable could include some fast panning and, as a result, the rolling shutter effect. Rolling shutter effect refers to the way vertical lines slant in your image during panning. We found that you can do a couple of things to minimize this effect. First, switch the a7S into APS-C crop mode, which is an option you'll find in the setup menu. And make sure to shoot at 60 frames per second. In this mode, at this frame rate, the rolling shutter is a lot less noticeable. I love that the OLED viewfinder works while you're actually capturing video. It's high contrast and easy to use for checking critical focus. When working outside, I relied solely on that viewfinder because the LCD screen is highly reflective. It's an articulating LCD though, which is nice for capturing high or low angle shots. Let's spend a few minutes here on lenses. Sony doesn't have a lot of full-frame E-mount lenses out yet. As of this review, there are 2 primes and 3 zooms. If you're looking for a wider variety of lenses, you might try an adapter, but you'll get the best autofocus performance with Sony lenses. And of course, image stabilization is something you may want to consider for video purposes. You'll find that on the Sony zoom lenses. Speaking of autofocus, I didn't have any issues tracking a subject with continuous autofocus using a Sony 55mm f1.8 lens, and the camera generally nailed focus on my subject pretty quickly. On the still photo end, one of the complaints I saw over and over again online about the A7 and the A7R was the loud shutter. The shutter on the A7S is dampened. Plus, it has a silent mode, in which the camera switches to an electronic shutter, so for weddings and events where you want to click away unnoticed, this camera can do it. There's a microphone input and a headphone jack for monitoring sound. The a7S comes with 2 batteries, and I'd say the life is about average, but starting out with 2 charged batteries is really nice. So this camera has great low light range, great video profiles to work with, and it produces beautiful footage at an efficient bit rate. Plus, there's full frame pixel for pixel readout and the ability to record 4K externally. With the Sony a7S, I'm Mia McCormick.
Whether you're a hobbyist or a professional, B&H has the answers to your questions. Experience a world of technology at our New York City Superstore. Connect with us online or give us a call. Our staff of experts is happy to help.
Scott Kelby here, and welcome to this quick tour of our online training. We have hundreds of online classes for you, covering everything from lighting to landscape photography. From portrait photography to sports, we have classes on wedding, automotive photography, shooting, food, fashion, travel, you name it. The most incredible part of this is the price. You get all of this for just $199 a year, or you can pay monthly for just $24.95. 24-hour a day, 7-day a week access from anywhere in the world. I invite you to join with us today and start learning right now.